This empty shelf just made your decision for you. See that? The fancy calibers are gone. First week of any panic, they vanish. But look right next to it, 9mm, 22 long rifle, 12 gauge, stacked to the ceiling. That right there is the only gun review that matters. Here's the problem. Most guys build their survival plan backwards. They pick the gun first, then hope the ammo shows up. So today, every gun on this list has to pass what I call the Walmart test. 3 questions. Can you find its ammo anywhere in America? If it breaks, can you fix it yourself? And can your wife or your teenager pick it up cold and run it? 10 guns, all of them cheap, all of them nearly impossible to kill, and every single one passes the test. Stick around for number 1, because it might be the best $250 in the entire gun world. Number 10. The Ruger 1022 in 22 LR. People laugh at the 22 until you show them the math. 500 rounds of 22 LR fits in a cargo pocket and weighs about 4 pounds. Try that with any centerfire rifle. In a shelf-bare scenario. 22 LR is the last caliber to disappear and the first to come back, because factories crank out billions of rounds a year. The rifle itself has been in production since 1964, with over 7 million made. Aluminum receiver, hardened steel bolt, and an 18.5-inch cold hammer-forged barrel locked in with Ruger's V-block system. Simple blowback action, no gas system to foul, and the 10-round rotary magazine is the best rimfire magazine ever designed, period. It keeps every round lined up perfectly, which kills the #1 cause of rimfire jams. The aftermarket is enormous. Every part is available everywhere, and you can strip it with basic hand tools. There's basically no recoil and no noise to flinch from. This is the gun that keeps the stew pot full. Squirrels, rabbits, birds, without announcing your position to the whole county. Baseline models run $250 to $350. That's not a purchase. That's insurance. Number 9. The Mossberg 500. Here's something most people miss about the 500. It passed the military's Milspec 3443E endurance test. Mud, sand, rain, thousands of rounds. That test broke plenty of more expensive shotguns. The Mossberg passed because of what it doesn't have. No tight tolerances that seize up when grit gets inside. Since 1961, the recipe hasn't changed. Aluminum receiver to keep it light, steel bolt that locks directly into the barrel, so the strength is where it counts. Twin action bars so the pump never binds, and an anti-jam elevator that keeps shells feeding no matter how sloppy you run it. The tang safety sits right under your thumb and works the same for lefties. Now run the test. 12-gauge shells, sold in every hardware store, bait shop, and big box retailer in the country. Fixable? A barrel swap takes 1 thumb screw. Wife and kids friendly? The manual pump means the gun cycles when you cycle it. No ammo sensitivity. Ever. Cheap birdshot, ancient buckshot, whatever's on the shelf. It eats it. Yes, it kicks. That's the tax you pay for a gun that never asks questions. $380 to $480 depending on setup. Number 8. The Glock 19 in 9mm. Fun fact, Gaston Glock had never designed a firearm before this platform. He made curtain rods and knife sheaths. No traditions to protect, so he built the simplest thing that could possibly work. The Glock 19 came out in 1988 as the compact version of the 17, and it quietly took over the planet. Fewer than 35 major components. Polymer frame that shrugs off drops. Nitrided slide and a cold hammer-forged barrel that resists rust and wear. Short recoil, locked breech, the same operating system running in police holsters worldwide. And the safe action trigger means no levers, no switches, no decisions under stress, draw, aim, press. The Walmart test? This is the valedictorian. 9mm is the most common centerfire pistol round in America. Glock magazines and parts are so universal, you could scavenge them from almost any gun shop, pawn shop, or police trade-in bin in the country. And field stripping takes 10 seconds with 0 tools. Run it dry, run it dirty. Run it with the cheapest steel case garbage you can find. It cycles. $490 to $550 and worth every penny of it. Number 7. The PSA PA-15 in 5.56 NATO. Let me kill a myth real quick. Budget AR does not mean cut corner AR. The The PA-15 uses forged 7075 T6 aluminum receivers with a Milspec Type 3 hard-coat anodized finish. The bolt is Carpenter 158 steel, shot-peened and high-pressure tested. The barrel is nitride treated. Those are the same specs you'll find on rifles costing 3 times as much. Palmetto State Armory just builds them in massive volume in South Carolina and skips the marketing budget. Now here's why an AR belongs on a survival list. And it's not what the movies tell you. It's standardization. The AR-15 is the most common rifle in America. Every gun store stocks parts. Every neighbor with a rifle probably has compatible magazines. If your bolt breaks in year 2 of a bad situation, you can swap one in from literally millions of donor rifles. No other centerfire rifle on Earth gives you that. It chambers .556 NATO and .223 Remington, the 2 most common rifle rounds on the continent. It's light. It points fast, and the recoil is soft enough that anyone in the household can shoot it well. A complete factory-built PA-15 runs $450 to $550. That used to be fantasy pricing. Now it's Tuesday. Number 6. The Ruger GP100 in .357 Magnum. Alright, here's where I start a fight in the comments. If I could only grab one handgun for 20 years of neglect, not the Glock. This one. Tell me why I'm wrong down below. Ruger built the GP100 in 1985 to replace the Security 6, and they built it angry. No side plates like traditional revolvers. The frame is one solid piece of investment cast stainless steel. The cylinder locks at the front, the rear, and the bottom, triple lockup. The coil spring action outlasts the flat springs in older designs, and the transfer bar means it physically cannot fire unless you pull the trigger. The survival logic is beautiful. One gun, 2 calibers, full power .357 Magnum when it matters, and cheap soft-shooting .38 Special for practice and small game. No magazines to lose a crush, no springs to fatigue in storage. Load 6, close the cylinder, done. A revolver sitting in a drawer for a decade will fire on the first pull. Can you say that about any autoloader with total confidence? It's heavy, but that steel eats recoil and takes abuse that would crack a polymer gun. $750 to $880 for new stainless, the most expensive gun on this list. And it'll outlive your grandkids. Number 5. The Marlin 336 lever action. The lever gun solved a survival problem back in the 1800s that we still have today: how to carry serious power through thick woods without snagging on everything. John Marlin's answer became the Model 336, and it had one killer feature the competition didn't: a solid top receiver with side ejection. That closed roof keeps dirt out of the action and gives you a flat surface to mount a scope, which is why the Marlin stayed relevant while other lever guns became wall decorations. Forged steel receiver, round bolt, exposed hammer, so you always know the gun's condition at a glance. Older guns have Marlin's micro-groove rifling. The new Ruger-built ones use traditional 6-groove cuts, and both shoot straight. Full-length tube magazine under the barrel, loaded through a side gate, which means you can top off one round at a time without ever opening the action or taking the gun off target. No detachable magazines to lose in the leaves. The lever runs perfectly with heavy winter gloves, and it hits hard enough for any big game in North America. It also carries one sneaky advantage. A lever gun doesn't scare anybody. It reads as hunter, not threat, which matters more than people admit. Solid examples run $650 to $850. Number 4. The Hi-Point TS Carbine in 9mm. Go ahead and laugh. Everybody does. Then watch it outrun guns that cost 4 times as much. The TS Carbine is American-made and stupidly simple. Direct blowback action, no gas system, no rotating bolt, no locking lugs, just a huge, heavy steel bolt inside a Zamac alloy receiver, and physics does the rest. Fewer moving parts means fewer things to break, and fewer things to break means it just keeps running through dirt, rain, and total neglect. There's a reason this thing has a cult following. The 16.5-inch barrel squeezes real velocity out of ordinary 9mm, giving you honest 100-yard performance from pistol ammo. The skeletonized polymer stock hides an internal recoil buffer, and combined with all that bolt weight, the recoil is basically nothing. Ghost ring rear sight, protected front sight, and Picatinny rails already built in. Here's the play a lot of preppers miss. Pair this with the Glock 19. One caliber feeds both guns, one ammo can covers your pistol and your carbine. That's how you simplify logistics when logistics are the whole game. $280 to $340. Brand new. Ugly has never been such a bargain.
Number 3. The Remington Model 700 in .308 Winchester. Sometimes survival isn't about volume. It's about one shot, 300 yards, meat in the freezer before winter. That's the Model 700's job, and it's been doing it since 1962. Wayne Leake designed it around a rigid cylindrical receiver and the famous 3 rings of steel, the bolt face, the barrel, and the receiver all wrapping around the cartridge head. That lockup is so strong and so accurate, the military built the M24 and M40 sniper systems on this exact action. Dual locking lugs, recessed bolt face, spring-loaded extractor, plunger ejector, internal magazine, so there's nothing to drop or lose, crisp, single-stage trigger, chambered in .308 Winchester. It passes the ammo test easily. .308 is one of the most common full-power rifle rounds in the country, stocked everywhere from gun shops to farm stores. And a bolt action is the most weatherproof repeating design there is. Ice, mud, freezing hands, you manually drive that bolt and it goes. No gas pressure to worry about, no cycling to trust, just you and machinery. Entry-level hunting configurations run $550 to $700. Number 2. The Rossi single-shot break action, $140. Let that sink in. This might be the cheapest firearm you can buy new in America, and it might also be the hardest one to break. The Rossi single shot is the firearm reduced to its absolute minimum. Steel break action, opened with a lever flip, exposed hammer, transfer bar safety so it only fires on a deliberate trigger pull. Open it, and the extractor kicks the spent case out for you. Wood or synthetic stock, your choice. That's it. That's the whole gun. Now here's what nobody tells you about single shots. Every failure point a semi-auto has: magazines, springs, gas ports, extractors timed to cycle speed. This gun simply doesn't have. There is nothing to jam because there is nothing happening. Break, load, cock, fire. A 10-year-old can understand it in 30 seconds, which makes it the perfect training gun and the perfect truck gun in one. It weighs next to nothing, packs into any kit, and versions exist across common calibers. $140 to $210. At that price, buy 2 and stash 1. Number 1. The Maverick 88 Security Combo. Everything this list has been building toward comes down to one box from Eagle Pass, Texas. The Maverick 88 launched in 1989 as Mossberg's stripped-down version of the 500. Same twin-action bars, same steel bolt locking into the barrel, same dual extractors and anti-jam elevator. The savings come from a polymer trigger housing and a crossbolt safety instead of the tang. That's it. The heart of the gun is identical to the shotgun that passed military torture testing, but the combo package is the cheat code. In one box, you get the 18.5-inch barrel for home defense and the 28-inch vent rib barrel for hunting. Swap between them in under a minute with no tools. Scored against our 3 questions? 12-gauge ammo? Everywhere. Always. Cheapest shells in America. Fixable? It shares guts with the most common pump gun family on Earth. Anyone can run it? A pump gun is the most intuitive firearm ever made, and one gun now covers birds, deer, small game, and the front door. 5-round tube, dead simple crossbolt safety. Eats any shell you feed it, from dusty birdshot to hardcast slugs. And the whole package? Both barrels. Everything. Runs $250 to $300 brand new. Dollar for dollar. Capability for capability. Nothing else on this list touches it. That's your number 1. So here's the truth we land on. The gun that saves you isn't the one with the biggest price tag. It's the one with ammo on the shelf, parts in every town, and enough trigger time behind it that running it is muscle memory. Cheap and common beats expensive and rare every single time the shelves go empty. Now I want your answer. Out of these 10, you get 1, just 1, for the next 10 years. Which one goes home with you? Drop it in the comments and defend your pick. If this helped you think clearer about your setup, hit like and subscribe, because next time we're covering the ammo stockpile mistakes that ruin most preppers' plans. See you there.